Hello, and welcome to Season 3 of River City Runs Red here on Restless Barbarian Gaming. I didn't say that it's a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle, but it is. It's a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. I'm a little rusty. Forgive me. It's been a long time. But I'm your storyteller, Aloysius, as I may or may not have said. I don't know. I'm getting back into it. We're loosey-goosey with this. But I am here with my lovely players. Once again, it's so good to see all your lovely faces and hear your lovely voices again. It's been too long. Too long, I say.
Yep.
But before we go into recaps and sort of set the scene for where we're starting up this season, I will have everyone go around and introduce/reintroduce themselves for all the folks watching either now or in the future. I don't know, or just for ourselves from the future if we forget who we are. So going counterclockwise. I'm gonna bug Jen first.
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm playing Delilah Cole. She's a Nosferatu.
I was like, yeah, nice. Hi, I am Tiara. I would like to go by T, and I play Yvaine, Big Money Mallory, as you might see from my name on the screen because I updated it. It's all about confidence this season.
Yeah, she's trying rebranding right now.
Yeah,
like a true minister.
Yeah.
We're not like your family's with your old time Setites or whatever. We're different now.
We had to rebrand.
Exactly. Hey, Tom, goes by Bolthra on the internet. I'm playing Ephrem, a DJ, and he is the Malkavian Whip. He is generally an awful person who is narcissistic, generally doesn't care about anybody else, and if he does show any kind of care for someone else, you probably think he's up to something. So.
I'm Pluto. I'm playing Scully. I'm new here, and Scully is a veterinarian that we have not met yet. So,
Yes, but we'll meet them this episode, though. They may or may not end up meeting with the coterie this episode, just forewarning. But we will see them this episode, and I'm very excited to have them.
Thank you for having me.
So last we left off, Ephrem got kidnapped. He had gotten kidnapped by a 8-foot-tall, pale, elf-looking motherfucker, with horribly sharp teeth, and seemingly wanted to do terrible experiments on him, for scientific purposes, obviously.
Of course.
No other reason, strictly for the development of science. But he sort of managed to outmaneuver this creature, whatever you want to refer to him as, and was barely able to escape the museum, seemingly, in which he was being held. Honestly, just by sheer dumb luck. It's really a miracle that he ended up getting out of there. But
some amazing rolls.
Yeah. Yeah, got out by the skin of your teeth. And while all that was going on, Yvaine and Delilah were kind of running around the city, looking at all of Ephrem's various normal haunts, trying to find him, because he had specifically asked to meet up with them and then didn't show up to the Waffle House like a real bastard. And, you know, that was a bit out of character, especially if he was demanding to meet. So eventually, that all got settled. They reconvened, and they eventually reconvened at Elysium after Yvaine and Delilah went around questioning every NPC that they had become associates with, essentially. Then Yvaine saw her sire at Elysium, who was staring daggers at her, had a panic attack, and then ran to her haven. So then Ephrem and Delilah initially followed, did not fully pursue her, and then they went off to the coterie house. And then they kind of just like lounged around and watched cheesy reality TV, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
there was definite TV watching at the very least.
Yes.
And then while that was going on, Yvaine was calming down from having her panic attack and was joined by her strictly platonic friend, Merrick Kroll.
Yes, I'll go on the record. No.
Yeah. At her haven, who both wanted to check up on her and also had some very unfortunate news to deliver, that the corpse, the mystery corpse, the non-thin blood corpse at the crime scene from the beginning of last season turned out to be the child of the prince, which was found in the barony of Ward 2. So that news hasn't gotten out widespread yet, but it will certainly be a shit show when it does. And we left off with Yvaine and Merrick heading over to the coterie house, but we will be picking up the following night.
Oh, okay.
So the three of you wake up in the coterie house, and Yvaine, I have to ask the rational question here. Where did Merrick sleep?
Why are you asking me this? I mean, he has a house, doesn't he? No, I'm just kidding. I mean,
He does, but you brought him to the coterie house.
That's so true. And you know what? Yeah, I feel like that late, it'd be kind of rude to send someone home. So I think Yvaine would have offered, like, hey, if it's too late for you to get home, you feel comfortable, you can always stay here. Now, as to if he would say yes and what would happen, I don't know. But she would offer it.
Yes, I would say, well, we'll say he would say yes.
Just polite.
Yep. So, did he stay in the spare room that never gets used? Or...
Oh, that would be so funny. That would really be very, very... Listen, that would be so funny. Yes, I want to say yes, because, hear me out, I think that if we look at who Yvaine is as a person, would she not be the type of person who also bought like 2 extra sets of comforter, like bedding, just in case someone came over to the coterie haven and we need extra bedding?
Of course she would do that. I mean,
turns down the bed for him like it's a damn bed and breakfast. Yeah.
I mean, she and Delilah, redecorated the whole house to just make it more homey. Of course she would do that.
Slippers for him to use around the house. There's slippers. There you go for guests. Yeah. I think that's way funnier, honestly, because it's not it's not even like it's not a decision that's born of any awkwardness or like nervousness like
Uh-huh.
many of her other decisions usually are. It becomes completely like, I have to show that Midwestern hospitality.
Respect. I can respect
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
And he wouldn't say much. He would sort of just make sure that you were okay. He would take the slippers, not put them on, but he would take the slippers, and then sort of just head off into the room for the morning, and that's where he would stay the rest of the morning until you all rise the next evening. I say, speaking of rising, I need all of you to make me rouse checks.
Okay. Trying to remember how to do that.
It's
Real?
gonna-
Is this a dice thing or is this?
It is a dice thing.
It
You
is a
just need
dice
to-
thing. Okay.
Yep, just
Roll a
roll a d10.
All right. Let me
If
see
it's
I
a
can
6 or
find
higher,
it.
you succeed. If it's a 5 or lower, you fail.
This is
Okay.
the first time I'm using the newer version of Foundry, so I'm trying to remember where.
Are these D10s or what are we looking at?
Mhm.
Yep, d10s.
D10s? Okay. Can do that.
I could have set out all my d10s. I did get a 7 though.
All right, you succeed. You do not get hungrier, Scully.
All right.
Rouse check. All right, I'll just do it the old-fashioned way here. I literally can't find the button on here. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I got a 3, so I failed.
All right,
I hate you. Hungry.
I'll roll for Merrick since he's chilling with you guys right now. He also fails.
Okay. How many dice should I be rolling?
Just one.
Just one? Okay.
Every day we get closer and closer
Eh,
to
three.
being a Bond junkie.
3? Okay, so succeed, fail, 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 and Merrick also failed.
Okay.
Okay.
I would say so. The only person who doesn't get any hungrier is the one who isn't even there right now.
You guys should have stocked your fridge. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it was a 3. So.
All right, so you all get a little bit hungrier.
Mm-hmm.
You're likely not at the hangry stage yet, but you're like,
I think
I'm getting a bit peckish.
Jen, on your sheet, you're going to add one more dot under hunger.
Okay. Let me find it.
Oh my god, have I been muted?
Huh?
No.
Now I hear you.
I
we
can
hear
hear
Okay, good.
you.
Was there something we weren't supposed to hear? So.
Well, no,
Like-
no, because I'm at 400.
Oh, Yvaine is.
Oh, wow.
Yvaine's
I was
definitely
at 3.
Oh yeah, Yvaine's definitely pretty hangry right now.
I guess, yeah.
Yvaine, if you don't get something to eat soon, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna just snap at the nearest person.
Yeah, like there's a whole snack down the hall. What do you mean?
Well,
Yeah.
while that is true, I don't think that can do much for you in that regard right now, unless you're about to do some very,
You could
very
do
taboo
something for her
things.
addiction. We're in danger.
All right. Well, if you
Figure
would,
out what I did.
if you would like to go in before you talk to the others about what you need to be talking to them about, you could try and go hunting if you would like.
Who is that directed at?
Yvaine, since
Okay.
she's the hungry lady right now.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Mhm.
Delilah, I know you keep a stockpile of rats in the basement, so
Yes. So I'm fine.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
what is my style? Osiris?
Oh,
God.
you're I don't have your character sheet. I don't know.
I have like Osiris.
I would say Osiris. That sounds correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're no Cyrus, me too. So
Yeah,
Oh,
so
twinsies.
this doesn't always work very well for Yvaine, as you might guess. So she usually just tries to like see if she can get blood an easier way, like attending every boring kindred meeting because there's free food.
There's that. You just left it
Open
before
bar.
you can get some.
Open bar.
Yeah. You know, is there like Elysium tonight? No? Yes, maybe?
Well, there's a Elysium more or less every night, but you know,
So
you
far
take.
away.
Yeah, I would say also taking like more than one drink, kind of a bit taboo.
What about from different people?
Bit of a social faux pas.
Okay. Well, do the kids who are hungry care about that? No.
No, not really.
Oh my gosh. Well, there's no two ways around it. This is so stupid. Yvaine's gonna send a text because it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like she's not being like, you know, she's not talking about anything kindred related, but she is just going to go going clubbing, be back soon. So she is going to
And who are you texting this to?
everyone in the coterie house right now currently.
Okay.
Okay.
On our pagers.
Well, we're also
On the
supposed to
pagers.
to talk about stuff too, I think.
Yes,
But
I would say.
anyways, she's hungry.
Yeah, I would say specifically, you and Merrick went back to the coterie house so you two could talk about the kind of shit show that's just waiting in the near future. But
She's gonna say, grabbing something to eat on my way. Because that's normal. People say that.
Of course.
all right. So you go out. We'll say you just head out to the nearest club. Driving shouldn't take you too
She's
terribly
starving.
long.
She dresses like a thought.
I can respect it.
Yeah. She's
Uh,
like, I don't have time to wait. I'm so hungry.
All right. So, in that case, I'm gonna need you to make a. We don't do too many of these around here. I'm gonna need you to make me a hunting roll. Your pool is your choice of either manipulation and subterfuge, or intimidation and fame.
Okay. I am gonna go through this because she does have two herd. However,
Oh, see, that can definitely help you in this case.
that is really true, but I do think just like, you know, just for the shits and giggles, I think it's funnier that
Just
she's
for the
so hungry
shenanigans
that
of it
she's
all.
like no, not enough. I gotta go out.
She wants
I
some
need to eat
strange.
out.
So,
Yeah. She's just like completely. It's like I don't even remember those people. Fuck that. I gotta go to where the people are. So you said subterfuge and what for the first one?
Manipulation and subterfuge.
Okay, and so like, can I use presence at all? Like, can I use awe?
You're allowed to use awe. I don't know if it would necessarily help you in this particular instance, though, because that's more for like persuasion and performance.
That's true. I was wondering if I could use it for like drawing people to her at the club.
I mean, I would say it definitely works in that regard, but as far as like assisting with the dice pool, not
Okay.
necessarily. I would say it would like lower the difficulty a little bit, just because you have like more options. But
Manipulation subterfuge. Okay. That's still not bad. So that's gonna be 7. Alright. Okay, yeah. And then so. Oh, 7d10. That is surprisingly lackluster. 6 and above is a success?
yep, 6 and above is a success.
Okay, so then that's 4.
All right,
And then it's
four-
not a messy critical unless I had 2 10s and one was on my hunger die, right?
Correct. If it's 2 10s on regular dice, then it's just a crit. If one or both are on your hunger die, then it's a messy crit.
Okay.
But 4 successes, yeah, you definitely managed to find somebody easy enough. You basically have people like, fawning over you right now. So
Yvaine's just like, haha, it's a kink thing. And yeah, so anyway.
just straight into the point.
Yeah, and so she's in the center of a little bit of a mosh pit orgy kind of happening right now. It'd be really funny if she went to Ephrem's club. Anyways, yeah.
We frown upon things like that. We do that in the back room. So
he's never gonna know. He's never gonna find out. What was my question? Oh, is she able, would she be able to safely slake 2 hunger?
I would say in order to do that, because you're at hunger 4, you will need to succeed on a frenzy check.
Oh no, she didn't go to Ephrem's club.
Yeah.
just in case. I'm sure she probably went to a club closer by anyways. Where
yes, I would say the Diablo Club is a little out of the way for convenience sake.
Lord forbid you turn on the fucking 10 o'clock news and there's Yvaine. She's throwing people around and having a buffet.
Yes, also you imagine Gremory would be quite pissed at you, to say the least. But
she's just so goddamn lovable,
Yes, but I will say you can attempt to slake 2 hunger safely if you succeed on a frenzy check, which is just your willpower, no hunger dice, just your willpower, and I'll need.
So I roll the number. So 5.
The number equal to your willpower. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll need 2 successes.
Well, thank God you fucking got it, because I got 8 and 6 and the rest were 4s, so...
Alright. Alright. So, it's really tempting to honestly just drain this person dry because you're so ravenous right now, but you managed to maintain your composure and managed to slake just enough to make yourself a little satisfied, and the person you're drinking from no worse for wear.
Yeah, can we just have gone into the bathroom or something?
Oh,
together?
absolutely.
People do, and there's no cameras in the bathroom, so that's probably. And she just kind of she then once she is sated enough to not go crazy, she's just kind of leaves them in their little. She just sits them down on the toilet and fixes their shirt a little bit. She's like, "Right, bye," and she'll leave. You leave them there. Awkward, but yeah. And she'll kind of straighten herself up, wipe her mouth off, and then she will go back home or to the coterie house.
It's the Yvaine Ephrem Marcus situation all over again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, so you do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say you're gone half an hour, 45 minutes. Yeah, it takes a little time to get there, and takes time to, drink somebody and prop them up on the toilet, as you do.
Yeah.
And then you got to drive back. It takes a little time.
Walks in just oh, good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? As I imagine people are at least starting to
Oh yeah,
down.
people are moving about at this point, I'm sure.
Yeah, Delilah's gonna go down and drain a rat because she feels that's more ethical than hurting people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
She
Very
fixed
fair
their
indeed.
shirt though.
Yeah, it'll take a few rats,
Oh,
but
of course, yeah, like
but-
three would probably do.
but you get there.
Mhm.
And you'll be able to like slake one hunger from that. So
That's
you can,
good. That's good.
Ephrem, what are you doing when Yvaine walks in the door?
He's probably sitting on the couch, looking at his phone. He's just gonna glance up when she walks in. She kind of walk in with like the walk of shame, or just kind of
She
like
just, yeah.
you went out early.
So like in shows and stuff when like somebody kind of like walks in a little bit frazzled because they just kind of had like a little encounter, like a little fun little encounter, where they're just kind of like fixing their hair a little bit, and they kind of like someone like, oh, right. Like everything is normal, but you're like, what? That's how she's acting.
He's like,
That's how she comes in. So it's not like shame, but she's just like, oh yes, hi.
"What's up, big money?"
Well, that is a fun nickname. I do love that.
And-
Nothing.
I was gonna say I love the idea that Ephrem would be the one who would get
The
those
one that
enemies.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yep.
He just kind of goes back to looking at his phone. And he's like,
Ephrem says that, and Yvaine straightens up a little bit. Like, oh, big money. I like that. She's just like, yeah, great. Just needed to, eat a proper meal. How's it going? How are you feeling? Is this the first time Yvaine's seen Ephrem since he got kidnapped?
No, you saw each other last night. You like met back up at Elysium, but it is the first time you've seen him since you had a panic attack and ran away from him and Delilah.
Yeah.
That never happened. Anyways, yeah. So how are you? Doing good?
"I'm good. Yeah, I got some shit to do tonight."
Is it anything that you feel comfortable disclosing, just in case you disappear again?
He's like, "I need to go see the," and I can never remember the Malkavian Primogen's name.
Yes,
Sorry.
I would say, well, speaking of the Malkavian Primogen, whose name you can never remember, Jasper Santana.
Jasper Santana. Write it down, I swear.
Yes. He actually paged you at some point late last night / early this morning,
Got it.
saying that he needed you to come see him to pick up a package for you to deliver to another member of your clan.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Yes.
As he was unable to go see this clan member personally tonight.
Yeah, I gotta go see. I gotta go see Jasper.
Hmm.
I think normally I've been meeting him at the Elysium,
Yes.
unless he tells me otherwise.
Yeah, I'm gonna say all of the Primogen have sort of like office spaces at Elysium.
Hours.
Yeah, off-hour office spaces.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what the Malkavian room looks like.
yes, I would say all of them have office spaces at Elysium. Very away from the public, but
Nosferatu is like the janitor closet or something.
yeah. Well, theirs is actually like a secret compartment in the janitor's closet, or even more further away.
Good, because that would be too obvious.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
exactly where you would expect to find a Nosferatu.
Yeah.
Right. Of
You gotta
course.
keep you on your toes.
And he will say, "You guys want to go with me?"
Sure.
Yes. As she starts kind of looking like at the stairs, like,
Yeah. As you look towards the stairs, you hear them. They have like a slight creak to them, so you hear the creaks before you see him. But Merrick starts walking down the stairs, and Yvaine, you do notice that he's wearing the slippers that you gave him last night.
Nice. We love that. Did we go over the information that Merrick told Yvaine about with like the group? Or has that conversation not quite happened yet?
I would say that conversation had not happened yet. You arrived at the Coterie Haven pretty late, so it was basically like, all right, we're here. I need to go to bed before the sun rises.
Right. Okay. Yes, however, there is something that we should all discuss together that Merrick told me that I think is going to, well, that I think is one, possibly, I don't know, possibly correlates to some other weird things happening around the city, but two, I think it's going to cause a big problem for us in the very near future. So would anyone like to sit down?
Oh, is this going to be a long talk?
This sounds like
Maybe not
conversation
long,
we
but
need to have.
definitely.
Shocking, to say the least.
Yes, that's a great word. Shocking. Yes, absolutely. Horrifying, maybe even some would say, like me. Okay, well, Merrick, do you want to say it, or should I just go right out and say it?
Your acquaintance, Saris Williams, is the corpse who was found at that initial crime scene. That in and of itself is not ideal, her being Camarilla aligned at the very least. But it turns out she was keeping a bit of a secret. She is actually the prince's child. Or was, I should say.
Okay.
So no one knew she was her child?
Other than herself and the prince herself, it is difficult to discern at this time who knew and who did not know.
It's a juicy bit of gossip.
Do we know anything about the identities of the other bodies that were found at all? Were they anyone else linked to, like, anyone else important within the city?
Is that it's a me storyteller question? Okay. You had found out that sort of like based off of their rate of decomp and then also Ephrem's horrifying encounter, that the three other bodies were thin bloods. So not necessarily people who the Camarilla are particularly interested in worrying about who they were or that sort of thing. But the fact that 3 thin blood corpses were found alongside Saris's corpse in Anarch territory raised a lot of questions that have not necessarily been answered, and also can potentially be used to it can potentially be used to some rather destructive results if this information finds its way to the right people or is delivered in the wrong way.
Okay. Merrick, you have this information. Does the prince already know, to your knowledge, then?
I have not spoken to the prince, and I have not spoken with Baron Walker either. You were the first person that I told.
She's resisting the urge to go, why? I don't know what to do with this info. She resisted that urge, but it was very strong in her heart.
I told you first, and then subsequently you as well, Delilah and Ephrem, because I dragged you into that situation to begin with. So I thought it only right that I tell you first, so you can
That's
prepare or potentially help.
petty.
I would say, or potentially help cultivate a narrative or have this information leaked in the proper way, because it will eventually make its way to more powerful ears. It's just simply a matter of time.
Do we know how many people within the Anarchs know about this?
I do not know that. As I said last night, I went to an, let's call him an associate, I suppose, amongst the Hikata, and he was able to pull this information directly from Ceres's wraith. So as for Anarchs who potentially know this information, I don't know. And as for how many people other than the prince on the Camarilla side of things know, that I can't say either. I would say be prepared at the very least that her sheriff and seneschal know as well. It would be a bit surprising if they didn't.
Well then, does anyone have any ideas as to how we cannot be absolutely and completely, for lack of a better word, fucked? I'm so sorry to swear this early in the evening, but this is kind of a really terrible situation to be in. Not your fault, of course. And she kind of like gestures to Merrick, like, who could have known? Not us, apparently. Absolutely wild discovery. Definitely a little terrifying. But I can't even think of how we could begin to start to spin a yarn that will make this less horrible than it will potentially be.
Yeah, this is going to really look bad for me.
Not gonna look good on the resume.
Probably not.
And why is that, Ephrem?
Because if the prince finds out I was withholding information.
Well, could that not be said for all four of us, technically?
You also
Yeah, I guess it'd be bad for you guys too.
Thanks, Ephrem, for looking out for us there. Yeah.
Oh, I've missed this. Oh.
So I need to figure out how to get me out of this.
Well, just another thing that I want to, like another point I want to raise. It's a bit presumptuous of us to assume, like just to assume off the bat that the prince doesn't already know. I mean, okay, is there, based off of like my, like Yvaine's time, right, in Grand Rapids? Grand Rapids? Is that where
Yes.
we are? Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's like, it's River City, I don't know. Oh, Grand Rapids. And like, just like, going to Elysium pretty frequently, even though she didn't really interact too heavily with people. Just
Mhm.
kind of like hearing things, whatever. Does the prince seem like a rash kind of a person, leader, or more like methodical in her
Yeah,
approach to
her.
things?
I mean, you haven't interacted with her a whole lot,
Mhm.
so you don't really know her on like a
There's
more
even like
personal
body
level.
language,
But
like
I would say, but body level, but like body language and sort of like how you've heard her speak and all that, she seems rather level-headed and graceful and sort of just like really holds herself with a lot of poise. But for all you know, that could just be like a really good front that she puts on for everybody.
mhm.
It could it just be like as simple as it seems, or there could be like deeper layers there that she's just hiding under the surface.
This is just my opinion. I don't really know the prince on a personal level. However, just kind of based off of how she's seen to operate in the, kindred public eye, uh, she does kind of seem like it might be better to go the route of delivering this information to her specifically in a, well, as palatable as you can make it kind of a way sooner than anyone else getting the news to. Like, I don't think we should wait. I think this is something that we should try and speak with her today, because I think not bringing this information now that we know it, bad move. Bad move. Death, even. I don't know. Just have bad vibes from it.
I agree.
Maybe what we could do is maybe if we take this information to the prince, maybe we can kind of, we've been trying to work with some of your, other people that you've delegated roles to, in trying to find out information about this group and like what's going on, and like use us to find more information about this. Let us be that tool for you, to help in however we can. Because I feel like maybe leaning it towards not let's fight and kill each other and just have a whole huge problem when we don't even know if there are human groups looking in on things going on here, or if this is like a kindred issue, or if this is even some other creature kind of issue. Probably feels like it's in our best interests to steer as far away from that as possible, at least until we have more information.
All right. I can put a
Maybe
couple.
take our ass off the fire.
I can put a couple feelers out to do some asking around who might be willing to help out with this. I will say I'm not opposed to having the information sent directly to the prince. As I said, she will, if she doesn't already know, she will find out eventually. But if you inform the prince, I will be obligated to inform Baron Walker as well, just so they're operating on the same information in case things do go sideways.
So you can hedge
I mean,
your bets
well,
and
but
cover your
also-
ass.
but
I
don't
thought you were all about covering your own ass.
Oh,
Ephraim.
I absolutely am. I'm just
Looks
glad to
at
see
Delilah.
I'm just glad to see that you and I are on the same page.
Okay, so like covering careers, sure, yes, but in a positive light. To me, this seems like a good idea because if we can even frame this in a there are concerned parties as well amongst the anarchs that want to know what happened, why it happened, and they are also looking for the culprits, that might go a long way in like sides not immediately pointing fingers at each other and tensions running high. And I mean, Baron Walker is an important person, so that might put some credibility there.
Agreed.
So who wants to talk to the prince? Maybe all of us together?
Well,
We're sorry we broke your window while we were playing baseball.
well, by the sounds of it, Ephrem has obligations to his primogen.
I do.
I don't like how this is starting to sound. Delilah, do you want to come with me to do this?
Sure, why not?
Unless, Ephrem, you need Delilah. And she's staring at Ephrem, just not blinking, just wide-eyed. Because I feel like she just is in the habit of blinking to look normal.
Yeah, I think that's what she
Right.
does. Yeah.
I'm not dead. I'm not dead. I'm not dead.
She's just trying to stare. If you need
Right.
Delilah, for assistance,
What would I need Delilah for?
you're the one who asked if we wanted to go with you.
I thought it would be the nice thing to offer. If you have other things to do,
Oh.
that's fine.
Ephraim's such a nice person, isn't he?
Of course. Of
I love how
course.
we all get along. Yvaine means this sincerely.
Oh yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
think we're all very good friends.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, you had a threesome with him, so how can you not be very
That
good
is so
friends?
true. I forgot.
See, season
That
one.
did happen. Yo.
Yeah, with him and the villain of that season. Yeah,
Oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
it was pretty wild. It was unfolding.
Yeah.
Delilah,
Hmm.
you are essentially like the most physically capable of this coterie, I would say. And Ephraim,
Probably.
for whatever reason, was literally just kidnapped.
Yes.
And I think it would be stupid to assume that Ephraim is not still in potential danger.
Hmm.
So maybe you should go with Ephraim. And the sound kind of like dies as she says it.
I was just saying it like really quietly.
He just has his keys. He's like, "Are you dressed? Let's go."
Yeah, we're good. I'm good to go.
Oh, okay, all right, have fun, be safe.
Don't worry. Miss Rogers is
Text
strong.
me when you get there.
Yeah.
It's like, where can I go?
He's already like opening the door and like walking out.
I'm
Oh my
running after Ephraim.
God. Drive-by cat. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that. Mine was
Yeah.
scratching at the door earlier, complaining
Oh,
that I
wow.
locked her out.
Aw.
That's what I should do, but he started screaming.
And
Oh.
okay, yeah, just let me know when we're in the car and we're on our way.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
so you and Delilah peel
Mhm.
out as quickly as possible.
Right. Right.
Leaving Yvaine and Merrick at the house for a moment.
Mm.
My coterie isn't home.
We have the house to ourselves.
Yeah. Mom and Dad are out for 2 hours.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know, this would almost be like a very kind of like pleasant experience if I didn't now need to go and speak with the
Yes.
prince.
I would say in any other circumstance.
In any other
Yes.
circumstance, yeah. If I'm going to speak with the prince, at least him tonight, or attempt to, does that mean you need to speak to Baron Walker as soon as possible as well, so that they're learning the information at the same time, essentially?
If you plan on relaying that information tonight, then it would be most ideal that I relay that information at some point tonight as well. I can put some feelers out as you requested before I do that, but he should hear it before the end of the night.
Mm-hmm. Very unfortunate, but it seems like we do not have much time to lose. So,
Agreed.
I will wish you luck. I will also wish myself luck. I have never spoken to the prince before, especially not on my own. This is going to be just fine. This is going to be fine. She looks... She's not having it, but it's fine. It's going to be fine. And I'm not
believe in
going to
you.
wear this to go do it. Thank you. That's so nice.
But yes, it would be ideal for you not to look like that when you go see the prince.
Yeah, she might think I'm trying to seduce her, and that would not be good. So I am going to go change.
That does get a laugh out of him, actually.
So I get changed, and then if you're ready to head out, feel free to. I guess let me know maybe how your discussion with Baron Wall, if you feel comfortable doing so, and I will in kind share the same information with you.
Of course. Perhaps we can meet up afterwards to relay how it went.
If I'm not staying on the ground, absolutely. Sure. Sure. And in fact, I think maybe I'll go try and contact some backup. Okay. All right. Good luck, team. And then she's gonna just kind of, she's not gonna be like, I'll open the door and let you out. She's just gonna sprint upstairs.
Put hands together. Yeah, that's
hands together from
Sorry.
different points across the city.
right.
She grabs his hands and is like, good luck, team. And then
Sorry, wrong
turns around
game.
and goes up the stairs.
Yeah.
And as he walks out the door, he just yells up, "Be careful!" And then he closes the door behind him.
Okay.
And Yvaine was not careful.
And then everything went horribly wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, well, before we get into all of the shenanigans that you guys are inevitably going to get up to,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna pan to a different point across the city, and Scully, when we pan over to you, what do we see, and what are you doing currently?
What is the specific day? If I may ask?
The specific day, it is it's a Friday currently.
Okay. Cool. In that case, it took like an hour to go out, so it's like hour past waking up, and so Scully is probably currently setting out from her haven for the night. If there's not too much going on, then she's probably on call at the veterinary urgent care that she works at. So, and she's heading out with a nice little cardigan and her hair up in a nice bun.
Nice.
She looks normal. Normal human being and not a vampire, everyone.
Yeah, totally a normal human being.
Mhm.
All right, and sort of as you're walking along, you see a kindred who you're, I'd say, like, pseudo familiar with. How you feel about him is another matter entirely, but he seems to like to bug you from time to time. Named Florian. Sort of got like light tan skin, short hair, and sort of like light stubble and a mustache. And you also notice that to the average person, this might just seem as a sort of like a bit of extreme body modification, but all of his teeth are sort of like serrated looking. And he sees you approaching. He's just like, Scully, how you doing?
What are you doing here?
You know, just walking around, seeing what's up. Don't have anything currently going on. Well, I guess I did have a big call the other night. Ugh, disgusting, let me tell you what. But, you know, kind of just not doing much at the moment. I figured I'd walk around, see what's up, and here you are. So I figured I'd say hey.
So where would I know Florian from, just to establish?
Florian is not actually an anarch. Florian is a cleaner for the Hakata. So whenever, he does work with the anarchs sometimes whenever there is a bit of unsavory / extremely messy business that needs taken care of. He's the one who cleans up the mess afterwards and makes it not a problem.
Okay. All right. Scully, in general, their general disposition is kind of like not super friendly.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's even approaching is a little bit, you know, out of the norm for them. But their interest is going to be piqued when he says that there was a big mess to clean up. And is this like right outside the hospital, or has Scully just come out of Fairhaven?
It's not like quite at the hospital, but it's like maybe like a block away from there.
Okay. We can walk and talk. So Scully will go ahead and just be like, so a big mess. What happened?
Oh yeah, Ward 2, real nasty stuff. There was sort of these it looked like it was some sort of like thin blood party or something. I wasn't paying attention to the exact details, you know, I just take care of business. But it had the makings of that sort of thing. There were a few bodies sort of like a little melty looking, but mostly intact. A couple of them were missing bits and bobs, you know, something that I might do on a night off, but you know, it was a bit much. But then the really nasty piece of work that was hidden in the closet. Ooh, oh boy, nasty, gross, disgusting. It was all kinds of melty. That was real tough to clean the carpet out of that one, let me tell you what.
So me, Pluto, I'm sorry to you, Florian, because Scully, so they're really that gruesome? Haven't you seen quite a bit of awful things?
I guess that's true. There was that like warehouse massacre like 2 years ago. That was pretty wild. But no one was like melting on the floor or nothing. That was just like, occasional stabbing here and there.
Literal
missing arm.
melting.
Yeah, like literally melting. I mean, it could just have been because she was like a little older, so she was like, a little more prone to that sort of thing. It was a little tough to tell, but
Another thin blood?
nah, definitely couldn't have been. But if it was, definitely older than most last in this city.
Well, that's awfully interesting. So, are you just telling me this out of boredom, or?
I just like talking to you. You're so nonchalant.
Well,
And you always listen. You don't tell me to fuck off. I mean, most of the time. You have once in a while, but I must have really been pushing your buttons because you're pretty patient with me a lot.
well, thank you for the information, Lorian. Hopefully you have less messy business to do, but I probably need to clock in.
Right. Sorry. Anyway, I'll talk to you later, maybe. But I don't know, have a good shift, I guess. Bye. And then he walked away. So you walk in.
Yeah. Walking in, clocking in. So.
It's a pretty... I'm sorry, go on.
Sorry, no. You go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that you like walk in, and it's like a pretty slow night. Granted, things could ramp up, but and it's early still. But currently, things are pretty slow going, so nothing like immediately needs your attention, like as soon as you clock in or anything.
Yeah. I think that usually, because Scully typically works for it's usually emergency work. They don't exactly need to run into too much too often. Hopefully. But I think yeah.
All right. So if you sort of just go about your business, then you're maybe sort of, going through your normal routine for about an hour or two before someone walks in, sort of like shaved head, and then a sort of like well-groomed graying beard and sort of like piercing steely eyes.
There you go.
And you know this man to be Merrick Kroll of Ward 3, an anarch much like yourself.
Yeah.
And he walks in and sees you and says, I apologize if I'm interrupting. I was hoping to borrow a minute of your time, if possible.
Scully looks at the clock. They were probably reading some kind of book on Unlike, you know, just like a light novel or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go ahead and close it because, you know, it's not usually, you know, other kindred do not show up to the vet.
Yeah,
Just
very.
in general.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And remind me, is Merrick? What is Merrick's role in War 3?
Currently, he is acting as an emissary between Baron Walker and the Camarilla in downtown.
Okay, so him coming to Scully is that's big news. So Scully's gonna go ahead and stand up and just like to call back like into like the back room because assumedly like there's one other person on shift most likely that I'm going on a smoke break. Give me a minute, and she's
Yeah,
going
but
to
you
go
just
ahead
hear,
and
okay.
gonna step out with Merrick.
All right.
So what brings you here? Somewhere where there's not really a camera
Yeah.
or anything, but, you know.
Sort of like go out back or whatever.
Yeah, I'll bet.
And he says, I have information that I won't disclose at this particular time, at least not until I have told Baron Walker. But I know the Camarilla are not exactly your favorite people in the world, nor are you theirs. But I'm currently working with a coterie of fairly young kindred, and there is a bit of a conspiracy going on that could, if things go south, could go very poorly for both us and them. And I was hoping if you would at least be willing to meet with them. I hate to say it, but they're a bit lacking in the muscle department. And I know you can handle yourself.
They're gonna stare at him for a second, just like, me? I'm the best person for this, really? Just like a slight expression of, you can't be serious, right?
I know you are capable, and one of them is a bit antisocial in the way you are. Two of them do plenty of socializing for all of you. And you won't be asked to interact with any of the important people at the Ivory Tower if you do not wish to. But I think you could be beneficial in helping them, and subsequently me and us, to figure out what exactly is going on, why it happened, and stop it from getting any worse than it already has been.
Skull's gonna like turn this over because I mean they're a bit kind of indebted to Ward 3, but you know, working with the Camarilla, kind of turning it over in their head a bit, and they're going to go ahead and say, I can't make any promises because frankly, if they get on my nerves, I'm going to start a bigger incident than there already is.
And he sort of chuckles at that and says, "That is perfectly fair. I would not ask you to go along with any of this without first talking to them and gauging your own opinion. I'm merely asking for you to meet with them and hear them out."
She'll go ahead and nod and be like, well, as long as I don't need to interact with any of the higher-ups, sure, yeah. Give
I'm
it
sure
a
that
shot.
can be. I'm sure that can be avoided.
Good.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I do expect to get more details on this later, though, because...
You certainly will.
Okay, good.
I
Checks-
will.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. Go on.
They're just gonna check their watch to see how long they've been out here for.
Okay, just a few minutes. Merrick will say, "I will message you in address, and would tomorrow night be amicable for you to meet with them?"
Should be.
Very well. I will message you the address later tonight, and with that I will leave you to your business. Thank you again for your time.
Yeah. See ya. So you're just gonna go back in.
Yep, and he just walks off.
Very friendly.
I can respect it. All right, and so you head back into the vet, and with that, we will transition back to Ephrem and Delilah.
Mm-hmm.
So you are heading off towards Elysium to meet up with your Ephrem's primogen Jasper to grab a parcel from him.
Okay.
When we get in, because he probably said very little in the car. When we get in, he's going to look around for Pixie.
Okay. She's not too hard to find. She's mingling about as she always does.
He's going to say to Delilah, "Do you know Pixie?"
I'm not sure if I've talked to her before, but I'm not.
Yeah, you would definitely. Yeah, you would definitely know of her.
Yeah.
Because she's the harpy at Elysium, so she talks to anybody and everybody whenever given the chance. And B, she's a clanmate of yours, so you're at least aware of her through the grapevine.
Okay.
What he's going to do is steer Delilah over to Pixie. He'll greet Pixie, usually gives her a hug.
Yep, and she hugs you right back, and she's like, "Ephrem, doll, so good to see you."
Good to see you too. Do you know Delilah?
I know of her. I don't
Hi.
think we've had any proper conversations.
I don't think we have either. Yeah.
I have a little bit of business to run, so I was wondering if I could maybe impose on you to entertain Delilah for a few minutes. I know you always have such wonderful stories.
Oh, my pleasure. And she sort of like wraps an arm around you. She's like a full head shorter than you are, Delilah.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, "So, what's on your mind lately?" And she sort of like starts steering you away to like a nearby table that you two can go mingle at, while Ephrem can head
what
off.
you're doing.
Head off to
Mhm.
do his thing.
Right. Yeah. So this time, Delilah decided not to wear her mask. So
Okay.
you can see she's got a line of rot going right here, and
Mm-hmm.
different things like that. So Nosferatu's aged terribly, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes.
So she's gonna
And
just follow over and talk to this person.
yeah, and just for both Pluto and for everybody's sort of recollection, Pixie's disfigurement is sort of like a two-face situation
Mhm.
where one half of her face is like jaw-droppingly beautiful, and then the other half is all sort of like shrunken and decayed and cracked and just sort of like real fleshy looking in a few
Mhm.
places. So it's so good to see you not wearing your mask. I feel like I see you wearing it all the time.
I used to use it a lot, but now I don't think it matters so much. I mean, you could see that there are things growing here, and
Yes, but I feel like we shouldn't have to hide who we are among our own kind.
yeah, I think that's a good idea. Plus the masks are ceramic and hard to have on your face all day. So yeah.
Believe me, yeah, I can relate. I wear a porcelain one out when I'm going about my business around town, but luckily that's few and far between.
Well,
I get to spend a lot of my time here.
Seems like fun. I don't think I come here very often, but
No, it's a bit of a outgoing affair for a lot of people. I know we sewer rats aren't exactly known for our outgoing nature, but
right. Mhm.
it just speaks to me.
Well, that's good. So, what do we do with this place?
What don't we do at this place?
Oh, well, okay.
Well, there are a few things we don't do at this place, but
Mhm.
believe me, you will know if you're doing one of them.
Good to know. Good to know. Mhm.
But mainly gossip, talk shop, business,
Yeah, that should work.
mingle, see others, be seen, enjoy a drink here or there.
You're right. Probably should get on that. But,
Are you a bit thirsty?
yes.
Oh, and she looks over to one of the masked retainers, and she just snaps, and one of them starts walking over, and she
Ratatouille? So,
yeah, and she takes two wine glasses off and hands one over to you.
Oh, thank you. I'll swirl it around a little bit, sniff it.
It's a melancholic vintage. I hope it's to your taste.
I think I'll enjoy it. It smells good. It smells really good. So yeah. All right. So I start drinking it, and it's like, that is very good.
Yeah. And she takes a sip as well. And if you drink the whole thing, so long as your hunger's not at 1 currently, you get to drop it down another level.
Oh, cool. All right, let me find that on the character sheet. But yeah, it's in here somewhere. Adventure. Yeah, I don't know.
It is up top.
Okay.
You want to go to the little thing that looks like a little chart, the icon on the left, stats.
Okay. Stats. Sorry, these are glasses that are old, and I need to get new ones. So,
No problem.
All good.
Yeah.
You'll see hunger.
Hunger. Let's see. Where is that? Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And then you want to just remove a dot. So.
Okay. Removing a dot. All right. Got it.
I had a feeling you'd like that one.
It's really nice. It's kind of got some aspects of I don't know what fruit, but it seems good.
It tastes a little bit different to everyone.
Good to know. Good to know.
And then you two sort of just keep chatting it up a little bit,
Mhm.
and we will cut over to Ephrem.
Okay. So he's going to try to find, or well, I guess he knows where Jasper's office would be.
Yeah. So you head over towards the offices, and you pass a few. You pass a few other Primogen offices before you make it to Jasper's. Jasper's is sort of like in the middle a little bit, in the sort of like office space, and the door is currently closed.
He will walk up, knock, knock.
You knock. Come in.
Okay. Open. Just lean in.
Ah, Ephrem, come.
Okay. Steps in, closes the door. I don't know if there's somewhere for him to sit. If there is, he does.
Yeah, there's a place for you to sit, like right across from his desk.
Okay.
I'm glad you were able to show up. I heard you ran into a nasty little bit of business last night.
I did.
I didn't get any of the details. I just heard that something had happened.
There was an odd person who seemed to have taken a liking to me for some reason.
An odd person?
Yeah, and he'll describe them. Ring any bells?
It does indeed sound a bit odd. It's not ringing any particular bells. It doesn't match a description of any of the Nosferatu I'm aware of.
But I managed to escape relatively unharmed.
I'm glad to hear it and see it.
And you apparently have some pressing business for me.
Yes. I need this parcel. And he hands sort of like a small box.
Mm-hmm.
Sets it on the desk in front of you. He says, I need this parcel delivered to one of our clan. His name is Miguel Attilio.
Miguel Attilio. And where can Miguel be found?
And he'll sort of like write out he'll write out an address and says he has a front working as a bartender on the opposite side of downtown. I would, because it's so close, I would normally just go and deliver this myself, but I have other matters to discuss with a few of the other Primogen that will be taking up my time for a good chunk of the evening, and I would prefer this business be dealt with sooner rather than later.
Of course. And he's putting on his best customer service voice. Even though although this is already kind of starting to grate on his nerves a little bit. Am I to wait for a response?
No, he should be there. Simply, and he'll also sort of like write out he'll sort of like give you like a general description of what Miguel looks like, and he says, simply go find him at the bar, hand off the parcel. Hands are clean of it. Simple as that.
Sounds simple. I'll take care of that right now for you.
I do appreciate it, Ephrem, and I'm glad to see that you're well.
Thank you. And he's going to leave. He doesn't really want to talk about the event. So he'll just take the parcel and leave. So.
All right, sounds good. So you take the parcel, head back out. I'm assuming you go back out to find Delilah, but maybe not.
God. Yes, actually, Ephrem would go check on her.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he will just stop probably a couple feet from her.
Yeah.
And he's going to choose a side where basically Pixie's back is to him.
Okay.
And
And
Yeah.
And sort of like as you're walking up, you just hear Pixie asking, "So what do you do to maintain your mask? I usually have to, because mine is made of porcelain, I usually have to be pretty careful when cleaning it. What is yours made out of?"
I think it was ceramic of some kind.
Oh,
I haven't used it
okay.
in a while because I just want to be me, you know.
Oh, I understand. So it's so you're able to be a little more rough with it because it's a little less polished.
Yes.
I see. Okay. That makes sense.
Mhm.
That must make it so much easier to clean.
Oh, it is. Yeah. There's like a film you can put across the front of it if you wanted, you know, for depending on what designs you want or stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I should look
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a kiln so I could, like, you know, if I drop it, I can make another one or something.
Oh, that's smart. Look at you thinking ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
And Delilah, you clock Ephrem standing a few feet
Oh,
behind Pixie.
Right. Oh, you know, I think I need to go talk to my friend that brought me here. But it's very nice speaking with you.
Oh, of course. Say hi to Ephrem again for me,
I
since he's being shy, apparently.
He apparently is. Yes. Okay. Well, it was great to talk to you, and I'll be back again sometime. So.
Incredible. I can't wait. Have a lovely evening, Delilah.
All right. I hope your evening goes well.
Yeah. And then she just saunters off with all the confidence in the world.
Of course, yeah. So then I go over to Ephrem and like, hi.
I have other work to do tonight. Would you like me to drop you back at the Coterie house?
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he will drive her back.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You drive her back. I will say, I mean, you can still drive her back, but I will say it would be, it's more out of your way to drop her off at the Coterie house and then come back, because where you have to go is still in downtown where you are now.
Mhm.
It's just in a different part in downtown.
Yeah.
But you can go out of your way and drop her off if that's what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't said that, you know, I have to stay with you or anything like that. So
No,
That is
not
true.
At all. Like whatever
So,
you're
yes.
doing is
Yeah.
your problem, not mine.
yeah. So he'll drop her off and
Mhm.
go continue his business. So,
All right. So
Yeah.
you go drop her off back at the Coterie house.
Mhm.
And then you go back towards downtown, and it's when you find the address, it's this little sort of like little hole in the wall bar. So definitely sort of like a divey looking place.
those are the best places. Yeah, he'll kind of check it from the outside. Ephraim gets kidnapped part two.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. That's exactly. Yeah, he checks it out. And is anybody standing out front or?
There are like a couple people standing outside, sort of just like it looks like they're smoking a blunt, but
Okay, even better. So.
but no, it doesn't look like there's like a bouncer or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, they don't have that kind of thing here. All right, yeah, he'll is the package small enough that he can kind of fit it inside his coat, or like how big is it?
Yeah, it's sort of like I'd say it's probably about like that big. So I'd say you'd be able to sort of like conceal it under a coat.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he kind of has like a pocket inside his coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he will walk confidently up to the front door and open it.
All right, you walk right in.
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody stops you or anything like that.
Okay.
You just head right on in, and it looks like yeah. So you go in and there's just like music going over the speakers, and it's a fairly packed place. The establishment itself isn't the largest or anything like that, but the space is definitely pretty full for what it is.
Okay.
So the people who come here definitely, you know, they're the type of people who definitely like to spend as much time here as possible. And
You're describing one of my favorite bars in real life. So, I think he's going to activate awe.
oh yeah, okay.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. All right. So you activate awe, and immediately, like, people in like the immediate vicinity all suddenly start, their attention goes away from what they were doing, and they definitely start paying more attention to you now.
Okay. And he's if there's not a spot at the bar, he's gonna slide up, and whoever looks, this is terrible, whoever looks the smallest and least willing to put up a fight, he's gonna put his hand on his shoulder and be like, hey, do you mind if I sit here?
They turn around and like, oh, sure. I needed to go get another drink anyway. So help yourself.
Sounds good. Thanks, brother.
And they stand up and sort of like head to the other side where one of the other bartenders is just pouring shots for people.
Is he able to get a look at the bartender? Do they fit the description?
Well, that bartender that they're heading off to is a woman, so
Okay.
Immediately no.
Okay. No. Okay.
Yeah. But then, sort of like as you're following their gaze and sort of turn back, another bartender walks up and sort of just like plants both their hands on the bar top and leans a bit towards you and says, "What can I get you?" And sort of like a clean-shaven young man, sort of like Hispanic, sort of dark wavy hair that goes down to about his shoulders.
Okay.
Various tattoos on his arms, and this matches pretty spot on the description you were given for Miguel.
Hey, I'm looking for Miguel.
Well, you found him.
Hey. And he's going to try to lean in a little closer, and he says, "I have something for you."
Oh, is that so?
So somewhere we
I
can
don't.
talk?
Well, all right, but don't get too handsy. I don't kiss on a first date. And he sort of like leans back and he's like, "Hannah, I'm taking 5." And she's like, "All right." And then he sort of gestures towards the back and starts walking out from behind the bar and out sort of like the back exit towards like a patio space.
Okay. Yeah, he'll stand up. If the person he had kicked out of their chair is still around, he'll go, "Come on back."
And they're just like, and start walking back towards where they were.
And he will slap like a $10 bill on the bar and just say, "For your trouble."
Thanks, dude.
All right. He's like, "Remember DJ Blackout."
DJ Blackout.
All right. And then he will head to the to the rear exit or whatever to go outside.
All right. You head on out, and there's like sort of like a couple people off, like not immediately outside the back of the bar, but sort of like planted up against like the wall of a nearby building that's like right next door, essentially. And other than that, it's just you and Miguel immediately outside the bar.
Okay. He's going to try to move closer to Miguel so that basically his back is to anybody else, who might, and just kind of reach into his coat slowly, not to,
Uh-huh.
and just kind of hand over a package because this is for you.
Oh, thanks. Not exactly who I was expecting or what I was expecting, but thanks.
Of course. This side of town, this is just more of a storyteller question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this still Camarilla or is this?
Yeah, this is still Camarilla controlled territory. Yeah.
All right. He wasn't told to wait for an answer or anything, so he is
Nope.
going to drop it off and be like, "Have a good night."
Yeah. Have a good night, bro.
All right. Turns around, leaves. So.
And he heads back inside.
Yep. So Ephrem goes to his car and probably going to return to Elysium then.
Oh, okay.
So
head on back to Elysium.
Mhm.
And while all that's been going down, Yvaine.
Yep.
Oh dear. Okay, can you hear me?
I can indeed hear you.
Yeah. I was kind of laughing too when I got back because I was like, the fact that it feels like everybody's just kind of missing each other because there's so many moving parts right now. But yeah, Elysium,
Mhm.
so ready for this. Yes, Yvaine wears a calming color, more for the prince than herself.
Okay.
See this calming color, and please don't kill me when I tell you this bad news.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
What is this
Okay,
common
so-
color?
God. Well, Yvaine's Yvaine's wore some wild colors before on the job, but I don't think she's ever worn anything like that to Elysium. Probably like a say like a mauve, like that kind of muted purple. Just makes you kind of feel tired just looking at it.
Okay.
It's safe.
Sounds good.
I was gonna be like, I don't know, baby pink or something, but I think that's a little wild to go to Elysium in.
That's fair. All right. So you
Calls an Uber. She doesn't have a car.
all right. You call an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
it's a shame there's somebody with a car, but they're not there.
Yeah, you guys left me to do the dirty work. Crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't even drive her or anything.
Mhm.
They're like,
Have
we're
to go
giving you
pay
the...
to go to my own funeral.
Yeah, they're like we're giving you the shitty job. We ain't even driving you though. Not doing you
Yeah.
that justice.
So yeah, she calls an Uber Comfort her last luxury before final death, obviously.
All right. So call up an Uber. It's there within 10 minutes.
Has she received anything from her sire?
From Frey.
Yeah.
Um, you do notice that sort of like in all the commotion of everything that's been happening, you didn't notice that apparently he had sent you a page last night, and it just says, "I didn't expect you to show your face."
What does that mean? What does she do? That's rude. What does she even do to you? Nothing. She just exists. It's so rude.
Well, you did subtly shit talk him pretty extremely, in a way that wasn't overt enough for him to just be pissed at you about it.
Oh, you mean at dinner? That and then she ate food.
Yeah.
Like a dickhead. Excuse my language. Yeah, you know what?
He's kind of a petty motherfucker.
Yeah, and the Anarch she's been hanging around also did.
Also true, they did beef. And
did beef.
And he did see you with him at Elysium.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so awkward. Damn. We need parent-child therapy. So she's not going to respond to that page. That's the obvious answer here. She doesn't say anything to this because she doesn't know what to say. And I think it's less from being like, as a fuck you, I'm not going to say shit. And more of a, I can't process this right now. There's too, on the level of things that are happening that are potentially bad for me, the thing that I'm going to do right now is like the highest on the list. And then like after that is war. Because at least a war might not mean my death immediately. Like going to the prince could be an immediate kind of thing. Then I phrase like all the way down here.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't say shit. And when she does arrive to where Elysium is being held, she does scan the room to see if she spots Frey.
All right,
Actually, no.
No?
No. Oh. It would be better to just go exactly where she needs to go. However, this is kind of like I'm not going to let that rattle me right now because, again, priorities kind of thing. But it would be pretty hard for her, I feel like, to just go up and speak to the prince alone. Like, right off. I don't even think that they're, like personally introduced, really.
Yeah.
So,
like, she definitely at least knows who you are, but you definitely haven't had like a one-on-one conversation before.
Yeah. So here, you know what? And I remember his name is does she see Hassan?
Make me a wits awareness roll.
Okay. Because not only does he have a role within the city, he's also he's done other things than the current role that he has now, right?
This is true. He has done other things in other cities.
Right. So, like, there's like some status and this person, like, she knows this person. Maybe she can get an introduction, is what I'm thinking. So, wits awareness. Wits awareness. 2 and where's awareness on this sheet? 2. Okay, I would like to use a willpower.
All right.
Does a willpower add 1 extra die or 2 extra die?
A willpower lets you re-roll 3 non-hunger dice.
Okay, actually, should I save it then? So I should probably roll first and then wait to see if I fucked up. Okay, yeah. Alright. I fucked up. I would like to use a willpower.
Okay.
Alright. Let's try. Type. Okay, 1 success.
1 success. Hassan's usually a pretty easy guy to spot. You know, he's a bit taller and bulkier than a lot of other people around here. Also, you can usually just find him brooding in a corner somewhere. But my cat wants in so bad. But you do You don't immediately see him, but someone else does catch your attention. You notice the sheriff, Aiden McCoy,
monster.
walking around.
Oh my god. What is happening? I'm not prepared for this. Okay. She just notices him walking around.
Yep. Doesn't seem to be doing anything in particular, just sort of existing in the space.
You can do this, you can do this, you got this, you got this, you can do it. Just channel it. Confidence is key. You won't die from just speaking to somebody. It's fine. Okay, and she's gonna go walk up to the sheriff.
Me hyping myself every day of my life.
Yeah, thought I had to really get into character there. Yep, she's just gonna, and maybe this is kind of a bit of a performance, right? Like, that's kind of her thing. It's like fake it till you make it times 50. So she's just gonna try and walk up casually, but like in a I'm in my element way, and this is not uncomfortable for me at all whatsoever. Why would it be uncomfortable?
All right, sounds good. And he turns and sees you coming and says, "Ms. Mallory, a pleasure."
She just turned around and walked away immediately. The urge was there. She'll come to a stop, say, is it more appropriate to just call him the sheriff? Or is it fine to call him by his actual name? Like, is there some etiquette here? With titles?
If you're unsure, usually it's safer to like if you're like friendly and cordial with them and they're cool with it, then it's like totally fine for you to like use their like actual name. It just sort of like depends on your relationship and dynamic, but
Sure.
it's always safe either just using their title or their title and then their surname.
Okay. So, because like, Yvaine's got some focus in etiquette, right? But I don't see that so much as like I'm so learned and I know all of the social faux pas a person could make and never make them. It's more, in my mind, what that translates to is that she has spent time watching people and kind of like trying to read what is socially acceptable and what is socially frowned upon because she's terrified of making a mistake in public.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is why.
Yeah. So like for an example, since you're on like pretty friendly terms with Rick, it's not weird for you to just call him Rick instead of addressing him as Hound, or like Hound L'Italian, or that sort of thing. That like a more informal relationship would be that sort of thing. So since you're, it just depends on like, yeah, it just depends on like how friendly you are with the person and sort of like the context in like which you're at. Like if you're sort of just lingering around Elysium like you are, may or may not be a big deal depending on who you're talking to. But if you're at like a formal meeting, then in that case, like titles are very important.
Sure. This to Yvaine, the sheriff comes off as somebody who is I don't know, kind of, I don't even know if by the book is the right word here, but like a title would be good. Proper respect would be good.
Yes, it certainly would not hurt.
So she's gonna definitely lean, like she's gonna lean to that side. But is it McCade?
McCoyd.
McCoyd. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because sometimes Irish and Scottish last names are pronounced completely and totally different.
They'll
than
get
what they
ya.
look like.
They'll get you.
So she'll, just come to us and say, Sheriff McCoyd, it's been quite some time since we last saw each other. How
Yes,
are
I
you?
don't. I'm well, thank you. I don't believe we've seen each other since that nasty sunburner business a few months back.
Yes, yes. How quickly time moves and also seems to stand still.
Indeed. But how are you? On life treating you well since then?
I can't say that I'm bored, which can be a blessing in some ways, I suppose, as people would say, and in other ways, maybe a little annoying, but that's life. We're in life, I suppose.
Indeed. I heard of your acquaintances, associates, whatever your relationship is, his little incident last night. My hound informed me.
Is he referring? What? Who is he referring to?
He's referring to Ephrem's kidnapping incident.
Okay, I was gonna say everyone has something going on, so really it could have been anything.
Yeah. It's like that series of words in that context, that means nothing to me because
Right.
it could mean anything.
Any numerous amount of combinations of people and incidents. Yes. All seems to be well for now, but definitely gave us quite a scare.
Yes, I heard that this kidnapper, whoever he is an Oblivion user. That certainly piqued my interest.
Okay, so, and the world stops. So, is it safe to assume that the sheriff got this information probably from somebody higher up, or wait, you said Rick?
Yes,
so Rick shared this information with the sheriff.
Yes, because Rick basically, I know it's been a while, so it's totally fine. But basically, as soon as Ephrem told Rick about what happened, Rick immediately went off to this place to try and investigate. And so what he found, he then immediately reported to the sheriff.
Got it. Okay, and then Oblivion user. What if is that would Yvaine even know what that really means?
You can make me an intelligence and occult roll to see if you know what that means.
It's very fair. Oh, that is so fair. Well, don't got much in occult. As in 0. But we have 3 intelligence, so maybe that will help. I got 1 success.
Okay. You don't know too much about it. You've heard the term flung around here and there, particularly among La Sombra.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of throw it around in the same manner that a Tremere or Banu Hakim would throw around blood sorcery, but other than that, you don't really know the finer details or what that means necessarily. But you can gather it's sort of like tied to the La Sombra to some extent, at the very least.
Okay. I think of Yvaine just kind of nods and goes, "You'll have to excuse my, I guess, lack of knowledge on this part, but I'm not quite familiar with that, I guess, particular vein of kindred ability."
Oh, well, you have seen me use it before, if you'll recall what I did with
Yes.
Mr. Marcus
Ah, yes.
when I sent him on a little
Sent
solitary
him to
confinement.
purgatory. She was trying not to say sent him to the Shadow Realm. I feel like that would go way over his head. So she'll just say, yeah, sent him to eternal darkness and purgatory, or at least until you had need of him again. Right. Okay. Well, it's actually regarding that situation that I am here tonight.
Is that so?
Yes. I've got something that I would really like to speak with the prince about. However, I've not been really I haven't formally spoken to the prince before, despite living here for a few years. Do you have any advice?
And you notice that his he's been sort of like
Is his
cordial.
interest piqued?
He's been like cordial and pleasant up to this point, but you see, like, as soon as like you say I need to tell the prince something, you see him immediately get like more serious. And he just says, "Come with me," and starts walking off.
Okay, she will follow. She will follow the sheriff. Yeah.
And
Why is it the second scariest person here? Oh my God.
and he walks over to the elevator and sort of gestures at the button and says, "If you would."
He gestures for her to touch the button for
Yes,
the
for her to
elevator.
press the button.
Does it have a disease on it? What? Is he allergic to buttons? Can I just kind of try and get a quick read on what?
Sure. Make me a.
Sorry, it just feels kind. Because she was like walking behind him, and she's just like
There's
just
a phobia about that
like,
number or something.
Make
She's
me
like
a.
walking behind him, and she's just like, I don't know, like he could kill me in the elevator.
Yeah.
Or something. Anything can
I
really
said-
happen. Happens in movies.
Yeah, I say, make me a. Sorry, you're like trying to like read his demeanor.
Yeah, like what?
Okay. Yeah.
Don't kiss this.
I say, sure, make me a wits insight roll.
Okay, it probably literally means nothing. It's just like push the fucking button, but she's like, excuse me, what? Like, what's happening? All right, insight, and did you say wits insight?
Yeah, wits insight.
Okay. 5, 12. Well, I got 4 successes.
4 successes. Yeah, you sort of like get the vibe, like you get the vibe like he's not trying to be rude or anything. It's just a very matter of fact of like, please push the button.
Okay. I was like, I don't want to touch this button that like 50 other hands have touched, and I don't know if they wash their hands, whatever. Anyways, she'll push the button, and try and like calm down in her own mind.
All right. And he steps in with you, and he just says, "The roof, if you please."
Are we on the first floor?
No, you're on I'll say you're on like the third floor.
Okay, what floor is the roof?
The roof.
Like, how many floors up is it?
I'm trying to remember how many fucking floors are on this building. We'll say like 20.
Okay, 20. Okay, that's not too terrible. That's a short building, is it? My building that I work in is also like 20 feet, or not 20 feet. 20
I was like 20 feet. I'm like, sounds
20
like
feet.
I'm like 20
A
feet.
normal
Sounds like, sounds like a normal house.
Right. It's also 20 floors. The tower's kind of tall. Okay. Yeah. She'll push, floor 20 for roof access. And she kind of stands with her back to the wall after it starts closing, and she's just kind of slowly watching it close, and she's like, as it closes. This is a very terrifying experience for her. She psyched herself up, but not for this. The sheriff is frightening.
Yeah, well, he could cast you into the Shadow Realm if he wanted to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't say anything if you don't say anything.
I mean, it's not she can fucking ask about the weather now either, because it's like awkward, like a very serious thing, like a very serious mood has come in, so she can't be like, so anyways, did you catch the new episode of Drag Race or something? It would be weird.
Sheriff Aidan McCoy, avid RuPaul's Drag Race fan.
It's just like...
And with your emotional state currently, it's an agonizingly long time before you get to the roof. And
I feel like she works up to like say something just as they get to
Is there music playing in the elevator? I just want to know if there's elevator music.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah.
Jazz music.
Yeah,
very generic jazz music.
Yeah.
Yes. We can say that there's like a very quiet bit of elevator music going.
Okay.
But before long, or perhaps after very long, you get to the roof, and the doors slide open, and there's a sort of like rooftop garden area, and you see the prince sort of standing off near the ledge, socializing with a few other people, and one of the women that she's with is sort of laughing at whatever somebody said, and the sheriff ends up walking out, and in a very serious tone says, "Everyone leave." And the
She immediately has the look of, what is he doing?
yeah, I'll say, and like the three people who are sort of like standing with the prince sort of like look like they just backhanded. It looks like he just backhanded them, and
try and look neutral and invisible with this.
yes, and one of it, and the one woman who was laughing just says, "Who the fuck do you think you are, McCoy?" And he sort of gets closer to her and says, "I will not repeat myself, Felicia. Leave now." And I set myself up for that one.
He told you, Felicia.
I thought you did it on purpose.
I wasn't thinking about it until after I was in the middle of saying it, but here we are.
All the homies
And
do not like Felicia. Bad vibes.
And she says, "We'll talk in my office later." And she walks off, and then the couple other people walk off as well, putting up less of a fight before eventually just you, the sheriff, and the prince are left. And Prince Rosalind Wolf, you see she's wearing a white pantsuit that is sort of like accented, that has sort of like various red accents throughout it, and she has bright red lipstick on right now. And she just is, she says, not even facing the two of you, she says, "I assume you have a reason for causing such a scene, Aiden." And
putting me in this fucking position. She doesn't do that.
And he says, "Yes, I apologize for that, but Ms. Mallory came to me with some urgency and stated that she needed to speak with you about something." And
Thank you, Aiden. Thank you.
he's getting straight to the point. And she turns around to face you, and her skin is almost glowing. She's just like drop dead gorgeous. And she starts walking closer to you and says, "Yvaine Mallory, you're Frey's child, are you not?" And she's walking closer, and her heels are clicking against the rooftop floor.
Okay. I'm just thinking about how to play this, because I think in Yvaine's mind, what she was thinking was like, "Hey, can I please speak to the prince if I could just, get a moment? I have something kind of important to talk about, but like at your own pace, of course." And Aiden came in so hot, and now she's like, "Oh, if there was a 10% chance that I'd make it out of here before, that's definitely now feels like it's decreased to about 2%. Thank you so much, Sheriff. Awesome. So she's feeling like so great right now.
I can tell.
So like she has to kind of, I think, reorient her whole the energy, I guess, that she's gonna give off here, because this has just become hell, her personal hell on earth. Can I I think that there's a bit of a oh my gosh, I feel like this kind of social tightrope walking is going to require like some, I guess, grace, social grace that she doesn't always have. And so that to me seems like she is going to just kind of like go like for it right out the gate here. And I do think that she is going to kind of try and assume a very specific kind of demeanor and role. And that demeanor and role is Camera are so annoying. She wants to come off as I'm not only loyal to the Camarilla, I am loyal to your goals. However, because you don't want to be too much of a sycophant, there are things or ambitions that I have, even if I'm not bringing them up, and I realize that this, like, being your tool is the way to is a stepping stone to getting where I would like to be. When really she's just thinking, I don't even want to be here, but she's kind of like, I need to kind of assume that role for the Camarilla, because she thinks that'll go over far better than crying tears of blood in front of the prince.
That would certainly be a better route to go than crying tears of blood in front of the prince. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think she's gonna go for that. So I think she's gonna put on a little show here. And we all know that this is fake, but maybe hopefully they won't feel it's fake. All right. So she kind of tries to remember that she doesn't need to take a deep breath because she's, dead. But
we all need to remind ourselves that every once in a while.
So she stares at the prince, I think, for a second, just quietly. And I think she tries to make it blatantly clear that she is assessing the situation, and she is not like assessing the prince to see if there's something lacking, but just kind of like making an estimation of like the three of them here on this roof, the situation, and like how to broach a serious topic to show like she understands that she's not using the prince's time like freely here, right? Like, this is kind of offensive. Thanks, Aiden. She goes, so I did come here to Elysium tonight because I had something that I wished to bring to your attention. And I did reach out to Sheriff McCoy for assistance with that, as your time is obviously very precious to you, as it should be. As you may already be aware, my coterie is looking into some incidents that have been happening recently, with kindred going missing, coming up dead. And I was given information on the identity of one of the victims that we found, and thought I should bring this information to you.
I see. Well, I do appreciate the effort that you've gone through. Though to my knowledge, many of these missing and deceased have been thin bloods, have they not?
Yes, there have been quite a few. However, a more important member of our community has been brought to my attention.
I see. Then please.
Why is it me? Why do I have to do it? I, Tiara, am also nervous. She's not even real. Oh. What was Saris's full name again?
Saris Williams.
And also, does, I guess, like, maybe like with a wit's insight, if I'm able to roll, can I get a read on like the prince's body language right now when Yvaine kind of hints that someone more important to the Camarilla has been identified as a victim?
Yeah, sure thing. You make me a wits insight.
Okay. Okay, I got 2 successes.
2 successes. She's a little hard to read. You can't quite pick up on like the nuances of her body language. You can tell that she's like a master of this game. But you can tell that she's at least like listening to what you may have to say. She's not just immediately dismissing it outright or anything like that.
Okay. It came to my attention that one of the kindred found deceased. Again, she doesn't say the again part, I'm sorry. But one of the kindred that were found was perhaps a little bit older from what we could see, and with cross-referencing kindred that have not been present recently at Elysium, as well as with other means of identification, it seems as though the kindred's name was Saris Williams.
I see. Do we know what happened?
I knew she was gonna ask questions, but I'm still like, oh god, everything feels like a minefield a little bit. Yeah, I was ready to duck, don't worry. Just for like my sake, just trying to remember all of the information that we found out. So we did muse that this could potentially be tied to Second Inquisition.
Yes, specifically the signs pointed to an organization who called themselves Revenge.
Right.
That's capital R-E capital V.
So edgy. Yep. And this group was also known to take trophies, right?
I would say that was more out of the norm, to your knowledge.
Out of the norm. Okay. Right, and that's why we thought that someone else or another group could have been using that like kind of as a cover to work within like those disappearances that were happening.
Yes.
Something else.
Yes,
Okay.
and because of Ephrem's whole kidnapping incident, you now know exactly where all that stuff ended up going.
Right. Okay. So, from the preliminary research into this and investigation into this that we've been doing, and with speaking with Hound, Rick, I don't remember Rick's last name. Sorry, Rick. I don't know. we're cool, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
That some of the kills match the profile of, well, potentially of a Second Inquisition group going by the name Revenge, and as she spells it out just like he did. It seemed to match pretty well, but one thing didn't match. And the thing that didn't match was that some of the corpses were missing parts of their bodies, as if somebody had either cut off or broken off something, like as a trophy, is what we mused at the time. And then we came to the idea that potentially another group could maybe be essentially using that group as a cover and acting as sort of a copycat to do something else at the same time, which I won't say that we are 100% sure of it, but many signs point to this being the correct, I guess, vein of thought, because one of my coterie members, Ephrem, and I don't think she knows Ephrem's full name. I don't think Ephrem ever gave us.
I don't
his
think
full
he
name.
has. No.
So she
No,
just
I
said
think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a. I'm
the
pretty sure with him
Malkavian
it's
wit.
yeah, I was saying I'm pretty sure with him it's strictly been on a first name basis the whole time you've met him.
Yeah,
Need
she
to
was
know,
like,
and you don't
Ephrem,
need to know.
the Malkavian whip was kidnapped from outside his club. He did manage to get away, but the group that kidnapped Ephrem seemed to have been where the missing body parts went. As to what they're trying to use these body parts for, still not sure. We are still currently trying to look into it.
And then she turns her head to look at Aiden and says, "Is this the museum incident that your hound was mentioning last night?" And Aiden says, "Yes, I believe it is. We're still looking into it. The individual of note was not there, but there were traces that someone had been using the space." That's disconcerting, to say the least.
There is more. A little bit more, that is.
Please.
Now, many of the bodies were found in Ward 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Many of these bodies were found in Ward 2. From my information that I have received, it seems that, and she's just gonna name drop them because, like, please. It's going good so far. I don't know. It's Baron Walker. Is that the correct last name?
Yes.
Okay. There are those, I suppose, higher up in the Anarch chain that are concerned about these disappearances and deaths as well. And Baron Walker is also keen to look into this disturbance, as I believe this is something that could potentially affect the entirety of the city if it gets out of hand.
At this rate, that is seemingly increasingly true.
That's me.
I appreciate you bringing all this to my attention, Ms. Mallory. Aiden, please have the Hound and the Scourge look more deeply into this matter, and I expect the same of you. And he says, "Yes, Your Grace." Is there anything else, Ms. Mallory?
Not at this time. However, if I come across, or my coterie comes across, any other information that seems like it can be of help, we will try and get that information to you through the appropriate channels.
I appreciate it. Please be sure that you do.
She nods her head respectfully.
Aiden, please escort her out. And he'll sort
That's
of
wild.
he'll sort of gesture back to the elevator. But before you go, can you make me a wits awareness roll?
Oh, not good at those, but yes. Yes, I can. Please. Okay, I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. You notice sort of like as you turn to go, and the prince sort of turns away and starts walking back towards where she was standing initially. You notice a couple drops of blood on the ground where she had been standing, and you sort of like follow her walking away, and there is blood dripping from her hand from her clenching her fist so tightly.
You know, I the briefest moment, I was like, oh no, is she crying? And I was like, she's probably just digging her nails into her own flesh, actually. And it was that. All right. Scary. I'd like to leave.
Yeah, okay. And the sheriff escorts you out. And you both step back into the elevator. And on the ride down, he says, "Thank you."
She lets out, she doesn't breathe, but she lets out such deep breath after the doors close. It starts going down for like more than 10 seconds.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Oh, yes. Yes. Of course. I would not dare keep this information to myself.
This goes much deeper than we thought it would.
I shall not. So, I suppose then it doesn't hurt to ask you, is there anything specific that you would like the coterie to? I mean, you have resources and more skilled people. But I'm assuming that my coterie will continue kind of looking into what's going on, or even come across things accidentally. But is there anything you would like us to, I guess, make special note of or look for?
I will have Rick contact you shortly with potential information or instructions. And given what has come to light, I have a suspicion as to what this creature is. And if I am right, it is bad news, to say the least. And then...
I suppose I'm allowed to ask for clarification on that? Or is this a, I don't want to say until I know for certain?
I could say, but it would likely mean very little to you. With all due respect.
Still, if you don't mind, I would love to know. Potentially. She's not making eye contact, but like, please don't withhold information that could potentially be.
And he looks, and he like goes and looks at you for this.
Okay.
And says, it is, I believe, either a Kiasid or a Magar.
Can you drop the spelling of those?
I can do that, yes.
Thank you. I add it to my notes. Appreciate it. Or a bad nosebleed.
Oh.
Awesome. Okay.
I have not seen this individual, but that is based off of what I have heard of their description and what they can do. That is what I suspect. They are highly dangerous.
That is becoming very, very, very clear very quickly. So I suppose it would be within the Coteries' best interest to not run into one of these things, if it is that, or its group.
They tend to be rather solitary creatures. If there is one, there is likely only one.
Did Ephrem talk about this, like, creature's mannerisms? Because they were weird. I remember that very clearly. They were very strange. Ephrem did? Okay. Then Yvaine's gonna say, I mean, according to Ephrem, it seems whatever kidnapped him had a very eccentric, oddly sociable kind of demeanor, if not completely twisted and unstable, I would say.
I will make note of that. Thank you.
Sure. Well, this has been really stressful, but good. Thank you for your help, Sheriff McCoy. I truly appreciate it. I am going to leave now because I think I am at my social limit. So you'll have to excuse
Understandable.
me.
For what it's worth, you did well, and she took that better than I expected.
Yeah, my head's still on my shoulders, and to me that is a miracle in and of itself, because I can't imagine receiving this kind of news. But with that, goodbye before I talk too much.
Yes.
She's
Take-
going.
Yes. Take care of yourself. I have work to do. And you two head off in separate directions. And as we round out for the evening, is there any last minute things that anybody wanted to do before we finish this session up?
Nah.
Hmm.
No.
Nope.
See, was that so hard?
All right. Well,
Let
with
me
that,
know. Yes. What do you mean?
Well-
I had anxiety.
That is
anxiety.
That is exactly what Ephrem would have said. Like, from what I heard, you did a good job. You know.
Yeah, that sounds about right for him. Uh-huh.
If I still had the bodily functions, I may have peed myself.
well, then we will call the session there then.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
hmm
All right, everybody. Well, thank you, everybody who watched on the stream, everybody watching on YouTube. Thank you. We appreciate your support. Please be sure to give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and we will see you next Friday night. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.